Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is my favorite day of the year. It is the day that I get to set up my new custom agenda for the following year. I'm so excited. So you won't know it by the time frame that this is actually going up, but it's actually the end of July. Yes, I already have my 2026 agenda in July. I like to order these things early because I am so impatient. It only took a little bit to get to me, but I'm still very scarred by the very first personal planner agenda I ordered that took over 2 months. Well, not over 2 months, about 2 months to get to me. I'm still very scarred by that, so I just order these way in advance. Also, they were having a sale, so I was like, you know what? I may as well just get it now. This is the style I went with for 2026. I absolutely love the gold. It definitely looked a little bit greener on the website. It's definitely just gold and black, which is fine. I still really like it. This is what is on the very inside of the book. So I put in a picture of the Disney castle with R2-D2 and BB-8, and then I have it saying, these are your first steps, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So I love that little quote. And then they did add a couple new features to the personal planner website this year. I noticed one thing that they added for like the custom pages you can put in the back. They had an entire like pet section, which I thought was really cool. And I probably would have done something like that if I had a new puppy and we were like training it and stuff. There was nothing on their choices that really stuck out to me that was something I needed with my dog and stuff like that. So I chose not to get any of those things. There's a few things I added and a few things I did take away from my 2025 agenda. I went with the same basic layout that I've went with for all of my personal planner agendas. But one tiny thing that I absolutely love is they have a few different options of font. So as you can see, it says December/January, and then the days are written in cursive. And I just think it looks so pretty. So I love that. It's so funny how just beautiful and clean it looks. And I'm just going to destroy it. Like, I'll show you an example of my 2025 agenda, just one page. This is my most recently finished page. This is the week I'm currently on, but this is the last week. As you can see, I have put stickers everywhere. I printed off pictures of K-pop demon hunters and put them in there because at this current moment, I'm currently obsessed with K-pop demon hunters. So I printed off pictures and put them in there. I have so many stickers, so many colors, so many things. And this, I just love this. I love looking through this. As I've said in all my agenda videos, I love my agendas so much. Again, these are a little bit more expensive than just like a regular planner you could get at like Indigo or definitely off of like Amazon or something like that. But I use every square inch of page on these agendas. I fill up every section. I love these agendas so much. So for me, it is worth the price tag. So a couple things I kept the budget planner. I think I've been doing this specific budget planner for the last 2 agendas. So this will be my 3rd year. And then I also did the cleaning schedule. I've had this in all of my agendas. I actually find it very, very helpful. And then this year in 2025, I did a tracking section and I tracked specific things. And I actually found I really enjoyed doing that. I did 2 pages this year. So each page comes with 4 different trackers you can put in. So I did 8 total trackers. Of course, I have my movie watch list where I put all the movies I've watched throughout the year. And then one little thing I added was I did books. So it does say books to read, but I'll just track in here the books that I have read, similar to how I track movies I've watched. I have been tracking books I've read. I don't know how long I've been tracking my reading, but definitely in the last 2 years I've been tracking my reading. So I've just been doing this on like the lined pages where I put a picture of the book I've read with a little blurb about it. So I figured I would do the same thing, but actually have like a dedicated actual book section to it. So I did that. Each page has 10 spots for books, and I'm not the fastest reader, so I think that's gonna... Oh, I did 2 of these. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think I'll use all of this by the end of next year. I guess I did 2 full pages, so I have enough room for 40 books. I don't think I'll read 40 books in a year, but that's me being ambitious, I guess. And then I have these little list slots. These are perfect for tracking and writing out my ideas for future videos. I've put lots of pages in of those because I use these a lot. And then I have my address book, which I'm not going to show too much because that shows phone numbers and addresses, so none of your business. And then the newest thing I added in a timetable of 2027, and then I was actually able to add in a timetable for 2028 as well. One thing that I did in this agenda that I kind of DIY'd was I did like 2026 videos. So basically what I did here is I've like very much pre-filmed ahead a buttload of movie hauls and sticker hauls. Doing this helps me keep track of things I have already scheduled. So yeah, I have actually already scheduled things all the way until 2027 because I am a lunatic. I just DIY'd this in my own agenda. And so when I saw that you could add timetables into this agenda and you could do the next 2 years, which I thought was really convenient because I think you can actually schedule videos on YouTube 2 years ahead. The only real thing that I had in my 2025 agenda that I did not repeat in this agenda was a knitting and crochet log. I did not use this. I thought I would, but I really did not use this, mostly because my knitting is extremely sporadic and I'm also not very good at knitting, so I never knitted anything more than a blanket. It's like, what are you making? A blanket for who? The puppy shelter. Like, it's just the same thing over and over again. I tried to make it fun by like gluing in the like wrap from the yarn that I was using, but yeah, I just didn't use this as I thought I would, so that got vetoed out of this agenda to make room for better things like movie rankings and stuff like that. I do have a few things here that I've already prepped out for just like some extra customizations that I'm going to DIY myself into my agenda. So one thing I did in that agenda was I did a movie alphabet challenge. So throughout the year 2025, I tried to watch a movie that started with every letter of the alphabet. As I said, it is currently July when I'm filming this, so I'm not done yet, but I wanted to do it again. I thought it would be fun. And then I found some movie challenges on Pinterest. So I kind of combined a bunch of things and I took 25 and I made my own movie challenge. So it includes things like a movie filmed in your own country, a movie in a different language, an animated movie, a black and white movie, a superhero movie, a really bad movie, things like that. So my goal is to try to get one movie for all 25 of these. And my only rule is that I can't use the same movie twice in here. And then I have what I've printed out for my trackers. So I'm going to track dog walking, steps, my water intake, adult spending, fun spending, mood, weather, and sleep. So one thing that I loved tracking in my 2025 agenda was my spending, but I actually found I didn't like it because there would be days where I personally was like, I didn't spend any money, but then I was like, but no, I actually had to get gas. And it's like, that's not fun money, that's adult money, and that is no fun. So I wanted to have two separate adult spending and fun spending categories so that I could really hone in on being like, okay, I am spending too much fun money and I have adult money that I need to be spending. So I thought that would be cool to kind of separate the two. So I'm excited to do that. I did print off more of these weekly trackers. If I have one tiny complaint about these agendas, it's that in this one single corner of the agenda right here, they don't have anything that I really like. So this year in particular, I got these trackers put in, but then I found for what I needed, it didn't work. So I ended up having to completely custom do it. And I added in this little side here thing. And so for my 2026 agenda, I chose to just leave this area blank. And then I made and printed out my own, which I know from experience, it's gonna make this corner right here of my agenda immediately way thicker than the rest of the agenda. But at the end of the day, look at the thickness difference between these two things. And this is, I'm only in July and like, look how thick this is. So at the end of the day, it does all balance itself out. Like obviously this is still quite a bit more thicker down at the bottom than at the top, but it does still all balance out. And yes, for the first like couple months, it's going to be a little obnoxious, but the only one it's obnoxious to is me. And at the end of the day, it's for something that I enjoy, which is doing these like trackers. So yeah, it's okay for me. And then the very last thing I printed off is I just printed off more stars. I do have in my sticker collection, I keep a drawer of just stars. So this is what I like to print off to use in my agenda when I rank movies. And then I also printed off some 5 stars because I like to rank movies out of 10 and I like to rank books out of 5. So I made the 5ers to rank books and then the 10ers to rank movies. So I'm gonna get started with all this cutting and gluing I have to do. It is 6:13 at the moment. I have to leave in just about 30 minutes to go pick up Sam from somewhere. So I'm going to just put on one single episode of a show and get started with all this stuff. I'm not going to finish tonight, but I just thought it'd be fun to get started because like I said, this is my favorite time of the year, gluing and just customizing my already custom agenda. I'm actually going to set a timer so I don't lose track of time and forget to go get my husband.